Hey everybody, welcome back to Cedar's Adventure. Sorry I haven't posted in a while, I've been very busy, but I hope to get a few videos out in the next few weeks. This park, as I said before, is very nearly finished, so I can't wait to show you the complete thing. So before I start talking about what I'm doing in this video, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed. I have now reached just over 300 subscribers and I'm so happy about it. I never thought I would reach more than 50 when I first started doing this. I just do it for myself, for a bit of fun. And you guys subscribed and you seem to enjoy it, so thank you. And for those who haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button down below. So in today's video, as you can see, I am actually moving some stuff around. I felt like I could utilize this area of the park a bit better and make some more space. So what you saw me build last week was the kind of backstage area. I'm using the same thing I built, I just saved it as a blueprint. I'm just turning it around 90 degrees and placing it more in the corner there. That frees up some space between the restaurant and the backstage area, so it can make things a little bit easier when I start putting my ideas into this area of the park. And as for the roller coaster I built, Rogue Runner, I did the same thing, saved that as a blueprint as well, and as you can see here, I'm just placing it down in a bit of a better area and just kind of changing the terrain around it to fit how it did before. So I will go more into the Rogue Runner coaster in another episode. This episode I've got something else to show you, but I will come back to that roller coaster and really finish it off with all the fine little details that I like to do. So I was trying to think about theme parks in real life and what they have, and I was trying to think what this park didn't have. And one of those things was a large theatre. As you remember, back in the very beginning of this build, I built a very small kind of entertainment stage area at the front of the park. So I kind of have an entertainment stage theatre show area, but I didn't have this big kind of arena style show. Due to the limited amount of space that I have, it's not as big as I maybe would have made it. If I had thought of it before, then maybe I could have made it bigger, but because it was something I thought of last minute, I couldn't really do it the size I wanted to. So it's kind of small, but it's still much bigger than the other theatre in the park. And this is kind of just got that idea, like the theatre at Cedar Point, it's kind of like, you know, quite an urban, put on like a kind of modern show. This one I've done with like a pool, as you'll see me do, and maybe there's divers, that kind of thing. Whereas the one at Cedar Point has, you know, BMXs and roller skating and trampolining and all that kind of thing. So it's that kind of extreme sport style kind of show. So that's what I'm going for here. So the theatre is called the Action Theatre. I've done something very typical here and built it too close to the edge. So as always, saving it as a blueprint. And then I'm going to move it back a few tiles to make some more room. I thought this really cool area to put the theatre in because I can kind of link the backstage of the theatre with the backstage area that's already there for the train ride. So that was cool. You'll see me kind of link that up, and it just kind of hides it a bit better. As you may know from theme parks, things are always kind of covered up and hidden, so the guests can't see really what's going on behind the scenes. There's hidden fences and backstage areas behind trees, that kind of thing. So that's something I've tried to achieve throughout this whole park. And I'm continuing that with this theatre with the backstage area. So I'm just building a very simple stage and then kind of making two kind of fronts on either side to cover up maybe the wing space where the people that are on stage can go off. So here I've just added some colour into it just to make it a bit more family friendly. It was very brown and grey, and I just think it needed a pop of colour in there. So I've just gone for your normal kind of primary colours, just to kind of just make it that look a bit more kid friendly. I feel like the park has quite a lot of extreme rides and there's not really too much for the family. There is obviously the kids area, the Snoopy kind of Planet Snoopy area, but it hasn't got a lot of attractions, and then the rest of the park really is quite extreme rides. So this is something for the family, and that's why I'm trying to keep it kind of simple colours and family friendly looking. Here I'm using the launch coaster track as a kind of stage support thing. I'm using this just to put these little bits on where people could jump off and maybe dive into the water. I will get rid of the supports in the middle because they are in the way, but that's just like a look thing. I wanted to have that metal frame style in the theatre there, and that hydraulic launch coaster track is the perfect thing to use for that. So I'm just going to get rid of those supports by putting some bushes down like I do normally. I've just hidden them underneath the stage. So it's time to add a roof on. I'm going to do not one large roof but two smaller roofs. I'm going to put one over the stage area and then one over the seating area. That way you can actually see inside. If I was to do a large roof over the whole thing, I think the work that I've done on the inside would kind of just be lost and there was really no point in me doing it. So I've just split the roof up just so that if you do download this park, when I release this, that you can actually see into it. Just adding some details, some supports here behind just to look like that those walls there are actually being held up by something. Putting these blue bits on the front just to give the front of the theatre a bit of style. Nothing important, just like I said, a bit of style. And now I wanted to support the larger roof by using a technique that I used to do in the Roller Coaster Tycoon series games, and that's doing a very similar thing to what I just did, is using a launch coaster, or any coaster really, but the launch coaster looks the best, using that track as a support. Now I'm going to use 4 of these, and I'm going to make sort of like a crane style support, as you'll see me do in a sec, where they support the roof up. And this is really easy to do. You just literally have to just pop the station underground, at least 3 levels down, and then just build a curve and a vertical piece up through the land. So as you know, that my park kind of has like a blue and yellow theme. There's hints of dark blue and pale blue everywhere, especially around the front of the park and in some of the parking areas, I believe. And also there's bits of yellow in the park. There's lots of yellow accents, especially with like the Cedar Fair sign I made in the car park. So I'm kind of continuing that here as well by using those two different shades of blue and then using the yellow here on the supports. So I'm just going to continue on here with building a backstage area where the performers can kind of sit down, maybe get changed or do their makeup, etc. So that's just going to be here in this fence area. I'm just separating the backstage area and the theatre off from the train ride, so that people on the train ride can't see in and the performers aren't disturbed in this area by the train. I try and think of all these little details as much as I can to put in. I do miss things out sometimes, but I really do love doing all the details. That's kind of why I like playing these kind of games. So as always, I have put some screenshots at the end of this video so you can look at the pictures of what I've done in still rather than looking at my rushed around time lapse. Thank you for liking, commenting and subscribing. If you haven't checked out my Disneyland park that I'm building, go check that out and hit the like button. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.